what's up YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a My 2 Cent Switch/gaming video for this week where I take a look at some of the stories that come out and give you my thoughts and my opinion. And we got 5 stories that came out this week that caught my attention. I did a quick My 2 Cent video on my unboxing of a loot gaming one where I talked about Bloodstain and Diablo Diablo 3 on the Switch, and if you want to check that out, I'll have a link in the description. You could check that out. But why don't we get started with this week's My 2 Cent video. And for this one, we're going to start off with part 1, which is basically rumors about the possibility that Nintendo could be working on a new Nintendo Switch, or a new version of it though. From an article on Game Rant, again, links are in the description, it states that according to what they're saying, quote, the rumor seems to stem from supposedly industry insider Marcus Stellar, who is known for starting rumors and supposedly leaking information on Twitter. In a since-deleted tweet, Stellar claimed the upgraded Nintendo Switch will be released in early 2019 with 8GB of RAM, 128GB of internal storage, and a dynamic scaling that will let it output 4K resolution. Stellar also claimed that this upgrade Switch will have some exclusive games that won't be available on the standard version of the console, pointing to the Resident Evil 2 Remake as an example that will support streaming services like Twitch. And in case you're curious, he basically, in the deleted tweet, he basically wrote on this tweet, which is now unfortunately posted all over the internet, Nintendo will be releasing an improved version of the Nintendo Switch early 2019. This console will have 8GB of RAM, 128GB of internal storage, and dynamic scaling up to 4K. Some third-party games will only release on this version. All Nintendo product games will be released on both. Honestly, until I hear official confirmation that this is happening though, I think I'm calling this fake, and I think a lot of people are as well, except for maybe a few like Rich from Review Tech USA, who I think he did a video talking about how even though the tweet was deleted, he says that he's claiming that Marcus Stellar is saying that it is real, although this is the same person who said Black Ops 4 was going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch, which obviously did not happen. And supposedly Super Metal Dave is involved in this. I didn't see his video, so I don't know what his involvement in it is. But I'm leaning more towards this is unlikely to happen, at least right now, though. Now, I do believe that Nintendo will probably do a revised version or a new version of the Nintendo Switch, seeing how we saw that with the Nintendo DS and the Nintendo 3DS as well. As far as exclusive games only running on the new Nintendo Switch, I'm not sure about that, considering that with the new Nintendo 3DS at the time, outside of Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, none of the other games, that was the only game that can only run on the new Nintendo 3DS. All the other games, like Hyrule Warriors Legends, was able to run on the new Nintendo 3DS or the old Nintendo 3DS, although when it ran on the old Nintendo 3DS, it supposedly ran badly compared to the new Nintendo 3DS. But as far as this one rumor goes, like I said, I'm leaning towards it being false for now. And as far as do I think Nintendo will do a new Nintendo Switch, I could see it happening. I could see it maybe, I think 2021, possibly 2022. I'm not 100% sure. I made a comment on Nintendo Prime's video on this, but some of them think that 2020 or 2021 is a possibility. And if they do a new Nintendo Switch, my guess, given that they have a partnership with Nvidia that supposedly will last about 2 decades, at least according to what both Nintendo and Nvidia are saying, I could see them using maybe a new system on a chip for the Nintendo Switch, like maybe a Tegra X2, they could use that. Or maybe the Pascal chip that is often used in some of Nvidia's graphic cards, or any other chipset that Nvidia has to offer. So I could see that happening 4K, not so sure about that, or the Twitch streaming one. So, but hey, anything can happen. But overall, my take on this is that most likely this is a false rumor, and I honestly can't see Nintendo releasing a new Nintendo Switch this early. But like I said, I think a revised version of Switch will probably happen, but I just don't think in 2019 we're going to see it. I'm thinking most likely 2021, but then again, I could be wrong on this. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2. And this one, we're going to be talking about the announcement of A Hat in Time is actually coming to the Nintendo Switch. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our My 2 Cent video for this week. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at A Hat in Time. Now, for those who may remember, that was originally a Kickstarter that was announced that originally I think was aimed for the PC, and there were certainly requests for it to come to the Wii U at the time. Of course, that never happened. And last year, I believe A Hat in Time was released on the PS4, the Xbox One, and finally made its way to the PC. But there were people who were asking for a Nintendo Switch version, or an NX version, I believe, at the time, and the developers, I think, were saying a flat-out no. Like, the game ran on the Unreal 3 engine, and that the game was not going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch. Of course, I think that's what the developers had said. I think they also said that earlier this year. Well, apparently it seems that they may have changed their opinion on that, or at least they were put into a position where they had to bring it to the Nintendo Switch now. In an article in DualShocker, it was reported that an announcement of the Switch version came when they also announced a DLC for the PC version right now. That's called Seal the Deal, which will be available on September 13th at $4.99, $5 to be exact. And supposedly, it's 100% free for those who download it within 24 hours of release. They also point out it's permanently free for Kickstarter backers. They also announced a free DLC for the PC version that is a free co-op DLC, which will also be available on September 13th, 2018. No word on it. No word if those DLCs are coming to the PS4 or Xbox One. It seems to be PC is the only ones getting these DLCs currently at this time. They also, but of course, the other surprise announcement was, of course, A Hat in Time coming soon to the Nintendo Switch. According to the article, it points out that, quote, Gears for Breakfast ended this presentation by revealing that A Hat in Time will finally be coming to the Nintendo Switch. The developers previously stated that they couldn't bring A Hat in Time to the Nintendo Switch due to technical difficulties, but it seemed like the overwhelming fan outcry and the wild success of the game allowed them to make a Hat in Time Nintendo Switch port a reality. Now, there could be several reasons what made them decide to bring it over to Nintendo Switch. One, obviously, is the fan outcry, or the possibility they may have looked at several other games that did run on the Nintendo Switch that use, I believe, the same engine that was used for A Hat in Time, which I believe is the Unreal Engine 3, ranging from, I think, Paddling to Outlast 1 and 2 managed to make their way over to the Nintendo Switch. And while certainly games like Outlast 1 and 2 had to make some adjustments, though, the game was able to run pretty well on the Nintendo Switch. Same with Paddling. I believe that ran on Unreal Engine 3, if I'm not mistaken, but they were able to get that game to run on the Nintendo Switch, I think, pretty well as well. So it's possible that they realize perhaps maybe it's not as difficult as it is, or it's possible that they may have been pressured to realize, the Switch is selling very well, I think we need to bring this over to the Nintendo Switch. Now, whether or not the DLC, like the co-op DLC or Seal the Deal DLC, will make its way to the Switch version. We don't know at this time. I mean, as I said earlier, PS4 and Xbox One are not currently at this time are not getting the Seal the Deal DLC or the co-op DLC. It's possible they could get it a little bit later, but right now, like I said, PC is the only one getting it, so it's possible when the Switch version comes out, that will get the DLC and the co-op DLC, or it may not, so we'll have to wait and see. But overall, it looks like as though, despite their claim that the game was not coming to the Nintendo Switch, it appears as though A Hat in Time will be coming to the Nintendo Switch after all. Whether or not we have to wait couple months or maybe a whole year, who knows how long we have to wait. But apparently it seems for now, Hat in Time is coming to the Nintendo Switch after all. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to talk about a remake of 2 RPGs that are currently scheduled to come to the Nintendo Switch. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 3 of our My 2 Cent video for this week. And for this one, apparently we got announcement of 2 RPGs that are apparently being remade. Both of them are coming to the Nintendo Switch. One is coming to the PS4, and one I believe is going to make its way onto the PC. So the first one we want to talk about is one called Grandia, Grandia. I apologize if I'm not saying the name correctly. So the first one points out, this one's from Engage, again, link in the description below. It says, quote, 2 classic JRPGs are coming to the Nintendo Switch. Grandia, which first came out on the Sega Saturn in 1997 before a wide release on the original PlayStation, and its sequel, Grandia 2, which debuted on the Sega Dreamcast in 2000, and I believe that was ported over to the PlayStation 2, if I remember correctly. It says Japanese publisher Gung-Ho is bringing the remastered version of both to the hybrid console sometime this winter. They basically said on their tweet, quote, Grandia 1 and Grandia 2 HD Remaster are both heading towards the Nintendo Switch. For PC fans, Grandia 1 HD Remaster will be joining our existing library of Steam releases. Stay tuned for more details and check out, they said the original announcement, they point to IGN. They said, the original Grandia was known for its gorgeous sprite graphics, sprawling story, epic soundtrack, and innovating battle system. Apologize if I'm saying that name wrong. Grandia 2 kept the combat mechanics while moving into a completely new world, fully animated in 3D. Both will be remastered for their Switch release, which they're claiming winter, while the first game will also be added onto the Steam for PC players. Gung-Ho previously released Grandia 2 on the online marketplace. And that apparently isn't the only RPG that has been announced. The other one that was also announced, let's see, this one was announced on August 20th, and this one was announced the next day. It points out that Langrisser, Langrisser 1 and 2, again, apologize if I'm not saying the name correctly, is full remake announced for the PS4 and Nintendo Switch. They say that the latest issue of the weekly Famitsu, which is basically a video game magazine in Japan, revealed that Langrisser, I have a hard time saying that name, 1 and 2 will include full remakes of the full 2 entry of the tactic RPG series for the PS4 and Switch. The release date was not announced. The games are being fully remade from graphic to system and optimized to be easy to play for newcomers, which, I mean, that's not bad, provided that they make sure that on one hand they can bring in new people, those who may not be good at these kind of games, while at the same time not alienating the hardcore audience or the fans that have been there. Character designs are completely new, the scenario is fully voiced, and the UI is being optimized. Battles also have cutscenes, and new elements not including the original game will be added. It also points out the game will be officially announced during a presentation event on August 29th. Development is currently 50% complete. There's certainly no word on any physical copy, but I do hope that does happen, and no word if these games are coming to the US, although if the remake of the first one's coming to Steam, that means we're going to see that game come to the US. The other one, no word yet though, but hopefully it does, and even if it doesn't, there's always the option to import it because, as we all know, the Switch is region free. Honestly, I'm pleased with this. I mean, I never got a chance to try these games out, so this certainly would be a great opportunity to try them out indeed. And if this continues on and we see announcement of a lot of these JRPGs or RPGs coming to the Nintendo Switch, I think we could see something very similar to what we saw during the days of the DS and the 3D and even the 3DS to a certain degree, and that is we could see sort of like the Switch becoming the mecca of RPGs, where a lot of RPGs are found onto the Nintendo Switch. I mean, we saw that, not to mention we saw that during the PlayStation era, I think PS2 and I think PS1 as well. And honestly, I think that would be a good thing because the Switch, I think RPGs in general, I feel could benefit from the Switch with the whole idea of it's the hybrid console handheld, a console you could bring with you on the go. And since a lot of these RPGs tend to be really long, this is an opportunity where, you can play your game at home, bring it with you on the road or wherever you go, and then finish off where you left off. So honestly, for me, this is a good thing that we're getting a lot more of these JRPGs, and hopefully we'll get more down the road. Maybe this will convince other companies to bring maybe some of their games over. Maybe this will convince Capcom, assuming these games do well, to maybe re-examine perhaps the Breath of Fire series that they have ignored, or possibly Sega to consider bringing the Phantasy Star games over to the Nintendo Switch, or at least bring them over here to the West, to even maybe remaking or doing a sequel to Skies of Arcadia. That would be nice. I remember playing the first one when they released, I think, a remastered edition on the Nintendo GameCube. I think that was back in 2003. So hopefully these games they not only come here to the West, I think one of them, I'm hoping that it could come to West, but I do hope that we get a physical copy as well. But overall, glad that we're seeing some more RPGs come to Nintendo Switch, and I certainly will be open to see more and more come out along the way. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to get to part 4, and this one's going to be talking about the announcement of Saints Row 3 coming to the Nintendo Switch. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 4 of our My Two Cent video for this week. And for this one, we're going to be talking about the announcement of Saints Row the 3rd coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, up to this point, as far as open world style type of games, or GTA style type games, however you want to refer to it, the Switch doesn't have a whole lot as far as I'm aware of. I mean, the only two that I could think of, or at least 3 if you want to count this one as well as being open world, would be basically Retro City Rampage, which pays more like homage to the old school GTA style type of a game, to last year's LA Noire that came out, which was not a bad port on the Nintendo Switch, to even, I believe, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was somewhat took an open world approach as well. Fun game, definitely a fun game, and definitely a good title to start with as a launch title for your system, to be exact. So, but up to this point, we haven't had, outside of those 2 games, we haven't had really any GTA style for the Nintendo Switch. And well, apparently we're getting another one along with games like LA Noire and Retro City Rampage. And while it may not be Grand Theft Auto 5 as many would like to see come, although there are rumors going around that it could come to the Nintendo Switch, for now apparently we are getting Saints Row the Third. The entry into the Saints Row series, and what many considered, although some you could debate back and forth, some consider this the best entry in the Saints Row series. According to VentureBeat, they're reporting that Deep Silver has announced that Saints Row the Third is getting a port on the Nintendo Switch, and that it's coming out in in 2019. It's also been reported that the Switch port is being handled by Deep Silver's Fish Lab is the one working on the Switch port of Saints Row the Third. On top of that, it's also now been reported that Saints Row the Third, the Switch version, will include all the DLCs. According to an article on Nintendo Life, again, links will be in the description, it points out that earlier this week, it was revealed that Saints Row the Third will be arriving on Switch sometime next year, surprising almost everyone in equal measure. As it turns out, the game will feature all previous released DLCs too. That includes Genkai Bowl, I think 5. Again, I don't know how to spell Roman numerals out very well. Gangsters in Space and The Trouble with Clones. Basically, this was in response to a tweet that someone asked saying, will it include all the DLCs from the previous release? And Saints Row on the Twitter said, yes, it will include all the DLCs. Honestly, I remember playing Saints Row the Third when it came out back in 2011 on the PS3, though, and it was a fun game, even if it was a bit different than how GTA in general is, which tends to be, while there are some humorous moments, tends to be a bit more on the serious side, where Saints Row tends to be more over the top humor, sex jokes here and there, though some of them are funny as well. So they both have two different styles, but both are fun games nevertheless. So the fact that we're getting this one on the Nintendo Switch is a nice addition, and hopefully if Saints Row the Third sells well, maybe this will convince THQ Nordic and Deep Silver to consider bringing Saints Row 4. If they do that, I hope it's the re-election edition with all the DLCs in it, and including the famous Gat Out of Hell one, to even Agents of Mayhem. I would like to see that come to the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, I know not everyone liked it though, but I didn't hate it. I thought it was good, and I enjoyed the game in general, even though there were some cheesy moments here and there, to be exact. And if these games do sell well enough, maybe this will convince Rockstar, assuming the rumors are true that they're working on it. If they're not, maybe this will convince them, if they see Saints Row the Third sell very well, maybe this will convince them to bring not only GTA 5 over, but maybe convince them to bring maybe the Red Dead Redemption series over. Would love to see if the second one could bring that over. If not, then I would be okay if they bring the first Red Redemption over. But overall, glad that Saints Row the Third is coming over. Hopefully, we'll see how well it plays when it comes out next year, and hopefully it does well enough that we'll see maybe Saints Row 4 or Agents of Mayhem come to the Nintendo Switch, or Red Falcon, another game developed by the same people who did Saints Row, although there are some pointing out that the button command they have for the PC version, which is a remake, has sort of Switch buttons on them. So it could be a coincidence, or we could be getting a Switch version on that one, but who knows. But overall, glad that Saints Row the Third is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to get to our fifth and final part of our video, and this one will be looking at the NPD sales that just came out. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with the fifth and final part of our My 2 Cent video for this week. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at August NPD sales. Now, before we begin going on to that one, there were rumors going around about August NPD sales, and many of them were pointing to the fact that Octopath Traveler could be topping the charts on this one. Well, NPD officially released their sales charts, and it turns out those rumors that came out before NPD officially released their sales chart turned out to be true. According to an article, oops, I clicked on the wrong one by mistake. There we go. According to VentureBeat article, July's 2018 NPD charts, Octopath Traveler and Grand Theft Auto 5 own the charts, according to it. So if we look at the top software sales so far, it seems as though Octopath Traveler and Grand Theft Auto 5 really do, with Octopath Traveler being at number 1 and Grand Theft Auto 5 at number 2. In terms of first party games though, we'll start off with Nintendo. They had Mario Kart 8 at number 3, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at number 5, Super Mario Odyssey at number 7, Mario Tennis Ace at number 10, let's see, Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker, that managed to make it in, at number 14. As far as Sony goes, in terms of their first party games, let's see if I can find, God of War entered in. God of War is still on the charts, 2018 God of War at number 13, while MLB 18 The Show is at number 18. Unfortunately, no Xbox One exclusives, either State of Decay or Sea of Thieves, are unfortunately on this list though. But ironically, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is at number 4. That's still hanging on to the list. Oh, I also forgot to mention Super Mario Odyssey at number 7. Forgot that one as well. So overall, Nintendo certainly had a very dominant year in July of 2017 with some of their releases. In terms of the breakdown of each system though, for the Xbox One, unfortunately no first party titles, either Sea of Thieves or State of Decay, made it onto their top 10, but Grand Theft Auto 5 is at number 1 on that list, with Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy at number 2, Players Unknown Battleground, I think actually that might be the only exclusive so far, at number 3, at least on this list though. Far Cry 5 at number 4, Rainbow Six Siege at number 5, The Crew 2 at number 6, FIFA 18 at number 7, Call of Duty World War II at number 8, NBA 2K 18 at number 9, and Overwatch at number 10. Over on PlayStation 4 side, God of War 2018 is at number 2 on the top 10 PlayStation 4 games for July. Number 3 is Detroit Becomes Human. And number 9 is Horizon Zero Dawn, a game released last year. It managed to still make it on the charts though. Other than that, Grand Theft Auto 1 is at number 1, and the rest of them are basically third-party titles. Over on the Nintendo Switch, outside of Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy at number 8 and Lego Incredibles at number 10, the list is mostly third-party support. Most of it is first-party games right here, with Octopath Traveler at number 1, Mario Kart 8 at number 2, Breath of the Wild at number 3, Super Mario Odyssey at number 4, Mario Tennis Ace at number 5, Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker at number 6, Splatoon 2 at number 7, and finally the last first-party game on the top 10 list at number 9 is Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. So overall, I have to say the big takeaway from this one is Octopath Traveler turns out to be a breakout success. It did well in Japan. I think it did well in Europe, in England, and in France, and it made it to the number 1 spot. Obviously, Square Enix must be really happy with this though, and this obviously is going to reinforce them to maybe support the Switch even more. Maybe we'll see more original titles from them. Maybe we'll see ports of some other games. Like maybe they'll finally bring that Dragon Quest game to the Switch, or maybe try to bring a Final Fantasy game to the Nintendo Switch. I'm hoping 15, but who knows. To maybe they'll dig up some other IPs. I mean, if The World Ends With You is getting a remake on the Nintendo Switch, why not look at some of their past ones, like say Parasite Eve for example. So obviously this was a good month for Octopath Traveler. Obviously it's doing very well, and it will be interesting to see when August's NPD sales, whether it's still at number 1 or if it drops down on the list in the top 20, or if it disappears completely off the list. So we'll have to wait and see, but overall the takeaway is that Octopath Traveler obviously did very well, and Square Enix certainly has to be happy with seeing that. Okay, this concludes this My 2 Cent video for this week. And again, these are my opinion, but what are yours? What are your thoughts about this rumor about the of a new Switch appearing in 2019, with it having not only more RAM but being able to do 4K? Do you think this rumor is accurate, or do you think this rumor is most likely false? False. I mean, that's what I'm saying. What are your thoughts about A Hat in Time coming to the Nintendo Switch? Do you think it's better late than never? Are you looking forward to getting it? Or do you think the developers may have burned some bridges to the point that you are completely turned off from getting it altogether? What are your thoughts about Grandia and Lanfrisser? I have a hard time saying that. Lanfrisser coming to the Nintendo Switch. Are you looking forward to these remastered games coming to the Nintendo Switch? Do you think this is a sign that we could see more JRPGs come to the Nintendo Switch? Would you like to see more JRPGs or RPGs in general onto the Nintendo Switch? What are your thoughts about Saints Row 3 coming to the Nintendo Switch? Are you looking forward to it, or have you played the game enough that you figure you don't really need to get the Switch version? And do you think this could open the doors of, say, maybe Saints Row 4, maybe the Re-Election Edition, or Agents of Mayhem coming to the Nintendo Switch? And what are your thoughts about the NPD charts? Were you surprised to see Octopath Traveler reach number 1, or were you not surprised at all? Do you think this is a sign that Square Enix could basically support the Switch even more? Do you think with no first-party games from Microsoft on the top 20 of the top best-selling games on the NPD charts for July, do you think that's a worry sign? Do you think that's not worried at all? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And I hope you hit that like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to. And feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You could do it through PayPal Me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that will be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!